Hey, good morning guys. This is Doud-Martin, editor with Bass Angler Magazine, and today we're going to talk about spooling up with the new soft steel covert camo braided line. Alright, so first thing we got to do, I'm going to be tying on some 50-pound soft steel braid. I've got some fluorocarbon backing on the reel here, just 25-pound in this case, so that that braid doesn't bite into the spool. It has a tendency to do that. You can also use electrical tape if you don't have any backing fluoro or mono you can throw on there. And I'm talking just a little bit, enough to cover the spool. That's really it, so that the braid doesn't cut into the spool. And then I'm going to tie a double uni knot, braid the fluorocarbon. The knot's really not that important because you're not going to get down to that knot anyways. It's really just to help get the braid onto the spool. And it's just real simple, 2 loops up and over each side with both tag ends. There's one. And I'm going to take that braid, do the same thing. You loop it over both the fluorocarbon and the braid. You don't even really have to moisten it. Again, this is just to connect the fluorocarbon to the braid. The other important thing when you are, and you want to, here's the other deal, with the tag ends, you want to try to get it as close to that line as possible so the tag ends don't bind up on the spool at all once you start spooling the line up. It's not as critical to get those tag ends super short like you would if you've got a short fluorocarbon leader, because again, this is going to be buried down the spool anyways, but it just kind of minimizes the bulk on the spool. Cut that nice and close. The other thing is, with the braid, you want to make sure you get it as tight as possible on the spool, tighter than you would fluorocarbon, so that it doesn't backlash as frequently when you're making your first initial casts. That's when you'll really get the braid really tight on the spool. But if you can add a little tension to both the spool of braid and the line as you spool it onto the reel, that's going to be the best option. Get it as tight as you possibly can. Also want to help feed it left to right so that it doesn't wrap over itself as you're spooling it up. And this is a camo braid, so what I'll do is if I end up punching with this and I find myself with a little bit of that lighter green down towards my bait, I'll go ahead and take a black Sharpie and darken that line a little bit so it's not as visible in the water. The water's pretty clear right now, so if I can darken that up a little bit if I'm punching, it might help me get a few more bites. That's pretty tight, that's good. To learn more about soft steel products, make sure to visit softsteelusa.com.